Hi Joy, how are you doing? Joy, are you with us? Joy. Lupolake, are you with us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can
Okay,
hear
so I'm
you.
going
Hi,
to make.
Aziz.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good too. So I'm going to make you host, so you can just be admitting people, because I'll be sharing my screen, so it might be a bit difficult sharing screen and admitting people at the same time. So but when I make you host, I want you to adjust the setting of screen sharing. I want you to make it such that participants can share screen. So while you're host, I'll be able to share screen. I intentionally disabled it, but yeah, just adjust the setting, change the setting to all participants can share screen. So I just made you host now.
Okay. I'm connected with my phone, but I'll manage to find the settings.
All right. You should see it under options, like that 3 dot button that says more. That's where you will find it.
I'm actually looking through the meeting settings,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's here. So let me check somewhere else. Background and effect. No, not this. Not this. I can't find it. I can't seem to find it.
Okay, give me back the host, and then I will try to just adjust it from my end.
Okay, so how do I
So
give it
there
back?
are two
How
of
do I
me.
give
You
back
just
control?
okay. So you just tap on the stuff on the screen on like my name on the sustainable solutions. Just tap. When you tap, you will see like options. You see options that
Okay.
says make hosts.
All right. Okay. Done.
All right.
Done.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, let me check now. Okay. I guess I'm now host now. So so Okay, so Falake, I just enabled that setting now. Can you try to see if you can share your screen?
Okay. Yes. Yes, I can share my screen.
All right, great. So what I will just do now is I'll give you back the host. And where I saw the screen sharing thing was under security.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You see one icon that says security. I think that looks like a shield. So that's where you can see. So
Yeah.
I'll give you back the host. So you just give it a few minutes or a few seconds to allow for everybody to enter. Yeah. So,
All right then.
so let's try to start as soon as possible. So I've made you host now.
Okay.
Yeah, so my screen sharing is working fine. So I believe all our speakers are here now. I've also shared the Zoom background already. So if all our speakers can try to put on their cameras and have the Zoom background up as well, that would be great. That would be really fantastic. So I won't really be able to see the number of people that are already on the call, but I'm trusting that Olufolake will be able to just undo admitting people into the call. So right now, how many people do we have?
We have 14 in the room.
All right, okay. So yeah. Let's try to start at 5:05. But I'm just going to welcome everybody who's already on the call. My name is Aziz Abubakar, and welcome to the Green Entrepreneurship Panel, which is an event, part of the Sustainable Generation Week, which is an initiative of the Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth. My name is Aziz Abubakar once again, and I am the founder and executive director of the Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth. And this particular panel today is going to be touching on emerging green markets and entrepreneurship opportunities, especially for young people. And we have an incredible lineup of panelists with us today who are incredible green entrepreneurs in different spaces within the sustainability and environment sector. So welcome in to the call. Just checking in, Olufolake, how many people do we have now?
Still 15. Yes, I think people are joining in gradually. So
all right, okay, so let's not take too much time. We're currently recording this, so definitely our participants can catch up with the recording, any part they've missed during the call. So all right. So once again, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. because I believe we have participants all across the country and all across the world, rather, joining us today. So I would just like for everyone to go to the chats. Just tell us, introduce yourself. You know, you could get to meet your next collaborator on this event, right? So just introduce yourself, tell us your name, who you are, what you're currently doing, and where you are dialing in from. So if you're dialing in from Cameroon or Tanzania or the US or wherever you're dialing in from, just let us know in the chat box. And feel free to also attach your social media links and all of that, so we can all follow you and get to engage with you at a later time. So once again, welcome to the Green Entrepreneurship Panel. This is an event, one of the events, actually the first one that we're going to be having as part of the Sustainable Generation Week, which is an initiative of the Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth. And this event is happening now, and it's starting now, right? 4 p.m. GMT. In some other time zones, like the Nigerian time zone, it's gonna be 5 p.m. So, and our team, there's some sort of echo. I'm not sure whether okay, I believe the echo has gone now. Sorry about that, guys. That's actually so. Yeah. So we have our event today, which is going to be touching on emerging green markets and entrepreneurship opportunities. So I'm just going to head right into it. Just to introduce myself once again, my name is Aziz Abubakar. I'm a lead green associate and also the founder and the executive director of the Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth Initiative. I'm a global shipper and also a Utopia Circle of Youth member. And I'm going to be your moderator for this event. So just a little bit about Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth. This is a youth-led non-governmental organization creating change since 2020 by finding sustainable solutions to climate and sustainability challenges at the grassroots through innovation, technology, policy, and advocacy methods. We really want to build the resilience of local communities by supporting them through capacity building and resources. Just checking in that you can still hear me, right? Olufolake, can you still hear me? All right, okay, thank you. So I mentioned earlier that this event is part of the Sustainable Generation Week, right? So just to give a bit of context into what Sustainable Generation Week is. So the Sustainable Generation Week is an initiative of the Sustainable Solutions for Green Growth, and it is focused on promoting environmental sustainability and raising awareness about climate change. The initiative includes a series of events and activities. And one of those events and activities that we've had already, some of the events and activities we have already is we started on Earth Day, which is 22nd of April. We started with a virtual sustainability march. So whereby we called on young people everywhere and people all across the world to join with us to march online virtually, and we got quite a lot of people joining in and replicating and doing the same thing, right? So and then there's also a platform we designed to make climate education and environmental sustainability a fun way to learn, right? So, which I'm going to definitely touch on later on during this event, right? So just to move forward to our panelists. So today we're going to have a panelist, a three person panelist, and we have Joy Ebe, who is the co-founder and chief impact officer at New Digits Technologies, and then we also have Blessing, who is the head of operations at Ecobasa, and Dozie, who is the founder of Quad Loop. So just to introduce our speakers, Dozie, who is the founder of Quad Loop, is an entrepreneur and an innovator passionate about renewable energy, consumer electronics, circular economy, and sustainability with Africa in view. He founded Quad Loop, a climate tech company that utilizes electronic waste, e-waste, to build solar lanterns and home systems with a lower environmental impact, rather. So he's been doing this, and he's been helping to reduce, carbon emissions, and reducing the impact of, electronic waste on the environment. So welcome, Mr. Dozie, to the panel. I don't know if you would like to say one or two things just before I could get next to introducing the next speaker.
Yes, hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Dozie.
Yes, hi, Abubakar. I don't know why
Oh, there's some echo. I don't know where the echo is coming from.
We
can hear you now.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you better now.
Yeah, so thank you for that warm introduction. My name is Benze Iguelo. I'm the founder of Quad Loop, like Abubakar had mentioned. So I'm here to just share some of the ideas I have on green energy and green business and opportunities surrounding the green space entirely. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome on board, Mr. Dozie. So we also have Ms. Blessing, who is the head of operations at Ecobata, and Ms. Blessing is an environmental enthusiast. She holds a bachelor's degree in geography and natural resource management. She currently works as the head of operations at Ecobasa, and she has over 5 years of professional experience in the recycling sector. Ms. Blessing has managed multiple projects such as community sensitization, community cleanups, and waste resource empowerment training, as well as facilitating the institution of segregated waste collection centers in communities to improve grassroots involvement in waste management. That's an incredible biography there. And she's been doing this, hoping to, take out the waste in our environment and recycling them into resource that we could then use later. I would like to hear from Ms. Blessing, if you would like to just say one or two things before I move forward. Welcome to the panel.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
You sound a bit low. I'm not sure, but you sound a bit low.
Good evening.
Oh,
can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better now.
Okay. So thank you for having me. I think this is a great gathering, and I'm excited to share my experience and knowledge about green entrepreneurship and businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring our invitation to join this panel. Yeah. So lastly, the last person that's going to be on the panel is Ms. Joy. who is a co-founder and the Chief Impact Officer of New Digit Technologies. Joy is passionate about social entrepreneurship. She is an inventor. She's a vegetarian. She is also a climate activist. She has over 8 years of experience in advocacy, policy, and entrepreneurship. In 2018, she co-founded New Digit Technologies and worked as the Chief Impact Officer with a vision to eradicate energy poverty in Nigeria. She's a member of the United Nations Academic Impact Fellowship and among the first ever UN Youth Climate Change Summits and Green Ticket awardees. A fight against climate change has been recognized as one of the top 10 green innovations by the Nigerian Climate Innovation Center. She's a United Nations Environment Program Young Champion of the Earth nominee and finalist. And she's also a Youth for Climate delegate, where she worked with other young climate activists in Milan, Italy. Actually, myself and Joy were Youth for Climate delegates, and we represented our country, Nigeria, at the Youth for Climate Summit, the first ever Youth for Climate Summit in Milan, Italy. I think that was in 2021. So we've been, engaging on quite a lot of things since then as well. So welcome, Joy. I would like to just hear one or two things from you before we start this panel.
Thank you, Aziz. Oh. Can you hear me? There's so much background noise.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, the echo is always, I don't know where the echo is coming from.
So okay. Thank you very much, Aziz, for the invitation and for having me here today. I'm really honored and I'm very excited whenever I have the opportunity to share my story and the work we are doing at New Digit with people and to inspire others to take actions. So I'm really excited, and it's always wonderful when we work together, you and I. So thank you for having me once again. And good evening, everyone.
Hallo.
Sorry guys for that interruption. So yes, thank you so much, Joy. Always fantastic working together with you. Yeah, good to work together again.
Hallo.
So I'll try to just manage the distractions that we're getting. I can see there are some people trying to unmute and speak, but I'm just going to mute everyone. So please apologies for that. That's a mute. All right. So let's get right into it. So we don't take too much time. So very quickly, I'm going to, this panel is going to run through, the panel introduction, which we've already done, and we would have the panel discussion. There's also going to be a questions and answers session for our audience, and then there's going to be the closing remark, and we would also talk about upcoming events that you could join later and share information on how you can contact us. So now getting right into the panel. As you all know already, I mentioned this earlier, but for those who haven't joined us, this panel is going to be all about emerging green markets and the entrepreneurship opportunities that are there for a lot of young people in the space, in the climate and environment space. And I'm just going to start to throw questions to the panelists. But just before I do that, I would like to just hear from the panelists to say one or two things, just share their experience about what they're currently working on and what they're currently doing, and how that is in relation to the theme of this particular panel discussion. So I would just like to start with Blessing. if Blessing would like to go in just 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So just as introduced, my name is Blessing Equiri, and I am the head of operations at Ecobata. I've been working in the waste and recycling sector for over 5 years now. And basically what we do is can you hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you. Let's keep going.
Okay. So basically what we do at Ecobata is we provide access to recycling facilities to households, businesses in Abuja and Nigeria. So we have, and we are doing this using technology. We have a mobile app where people can just at their own convenience request for a doorstep pickup, and then we go pick up from them, and then they can convert their waste that they've recycled to value and cash out. We also have drop-off centers in semi-public places like markets and estates for people that cannot wait for us to come pick up from them, or who do not have access to our doorstep pickup collection. So we have drop-off centers that they can then go drop off their recyclables. And some of these recyclables that we collect are also turned into fashionable products, where we have a community of internally displaced women that then convert them to fashionable products that they can sell and build back their lives. So basically that's a little bit about what we do at Ecobata. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. What an incredible approach and strategy on how you're collecting waste and ensuring that that is recycled in a sustainable manner. So I would like to just pass the mic to Mr. Dozie, if you would like to go now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes. My name is Dozie Eguelo. I'm the founder of Quadloop. So Quadloop is the whole idea started out in 2018, whereby I was then a field telecom engineer. My project was in line with solar installation in the MTN and Airtel sites. So that brought me actually to travel around some southwestern to northern region, where I found out that most people are actually paying to have their phone charged. There's this particular community in Ondo State, Aike, that I spent about 3 days, and I noticed that there's a gas station and there's a shop. So, and there's a generator. The gas station feeds the generator with fuel. And they pay. So when they get it, they put a sticker, like sellotape and write 100 naira. So whatever it is, you have to pay 100 naira. So now I found out like, hey, why can't we just build something that can provide solve this basic power needs? This is when the idea started. So we started building prototypes of lanterns. And at some point we started looking at it like, if we want to really scale this up, bringing in raw materials from China might not be, might not be easy in terms of forex and the rest. So we had to look inwards to see how we could leverage electronic waste. So that's when the entire idea of harvesting electronic waste to build products started in. So our goal is that we partner closely with formal e-waste collectors. These guys collect from top corporates, and they have so much e-waste at their disposal. So there are certain materials that we collect from them and use to rebuild portable products. So our flagship product is called Idunu, which is a portable solar lantern designed from 70% of e-waste and 30% of virgin material. It provides basic lightning and mobile USB charging. So the product is designed locally here in Nigeria and designed for Nigeria by Nigerians. So these are our flagship product, like I said, and we've sold about 160 units from our last batch of production, which is 200. So we're looking to scale up into emerging markets and other parts of Africa as well. Our plan is to see how we could scale up by the end of the year about 1,000 pieces of the product, pushing it to far east and far northern region of Nigeria. So this is what we have currently as our flagship product. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's such a wonderful story on how you eventually got into e-waste management and recycling. I mean, it was from you seeing the challenge and the gap in the society that you actually came up with this solution to the problem within the community, which is what we would like to see more young people, right? I personally believe that anywhere there are challenges and problems, as young people, we could solve them. And this could also be a social entrepreneurship opportunity to create impact, to not just make profit, but to also create meaningful impact, right? And to also foster economic growth, sustainable economic growth within the community. So I would like to pass the mic to Joy now to share a bit about what she's doing at New Digits Technologies.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's been some echo, but it's better now.
Okay. Thank you, Assis, and all the other panelists that spoke earlier. My name is Joy. Once again, my name is Joy Igbe. I am the co-founder of New Digi Technology, and I also work as the Chief Impact Officer. At New Digits, we provide zero-emission energy solutions for household, small businesses, and low-income communities. So basically, we are providing them with technology that they can use to cook, that can provide cooking gas for them, and also electricity as well. So the technology we're utilizing is the green hydrogen fuel cell technology. So basically, we're using water as the fuel. So they use water, to produce electricity and cooking gas. And also, we also train young graduates or unemployed graduates, or whichever the case is. We train young people on green businesses and solution. Can be on panel installation, solar systems, and also all the opportunity that comes around with green businesses and innovation. This is just basically to inspire others to take actions, for the planet, and also solve some of the major issues which we are facing in Nigeria. We know that when we talked about development, energy poverty is one of the big issues we are facing, and our main vision is to, eradicate energy poverty, at the same time climate change as well, and also provide an opportunity for economic growth. So shortly, that's what we do at Sigma, and thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing that as well. Always inspiring to hear all the incredible work young people like you all here on the call are doing in order to help in impacting our communities, in local communities, and communities that are marginalized as well. We're always interesting to hear about all of that. So now let me just get right into my questions now. So the first question I have here is, I'd like to first ask, this would go to Ms. Bessie. So what are some of the challenges that you face, and how did you overcome them? What are some of the challenges you faced in your business, Ekobasa? How have you been able to overcome these challenges?
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, Some of the challenges that we face in the recycling sector, I think one that I'm particular about is behavioral change. When you bring up the issue of waste, it's not a standalone issue. It's interconnected to health, to resource management, and a choice of living. So for you to just tell someone, oh, this is a resource, it's not waste, and you can make something out of it. A lot of Nigerians they don't see that as something that they should be engaged in. They most times are looking for, where is my next meal coming from? You get, how is that going to add to my bank account and stuff like that. So if you are not offering tangible, what's it called, value for what you're asking them to do, a lot of people do not even want to listen to you, and they don't even want to start recycling. So one of the challenges that we have is behavioral change. You see people driving on the road and immediately they eat something and then they trash it out of the window. In their houses, they just wake up at night, go and find the nearest gutter, trash their waste. And all these are eventually going to cause problems that would even harm them. But because they are not seeing the immediate effect, they do not care about it. So one of the things that we do to solve this problem of behavioral change is we just keep enlightening people, keep doing awareness campaigns. You know, currently we even have an ongoing campaign, the Go Green campaign. It's going to run for a couple of months, just going out on the streets and online, educating Nigerians about the effects of indiscriminate waste disposal, how it's going to affect us, especially with the rain coming, how this waste that they're disposing indiscriminately is going to, in turn, come back to affect them. Going beyond citizens, we see policies, some of the challenges that we face are the policies. Either there are policies that are hindering the work you're doing, or there are no policies to support you. So for policies, it's not something that you can just wake up in the morning and you're solving it. It's something that you have to keep discussing with other agencies, government agencies, private sectors, to come up with better solutions to create better policies or implement, because sometimes we have policies that demand that people should manage their waste properly, or people should live sustainable lifestyles, or that should encourage sustainable businesses, but they are not being implemented. So one other thing that we keep doing is just keep engaging policymakers and private sectors to see how best we can come around and put heads together to bring up solutions. Yeah, I think those are two challenges that I would like to touch on. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And yeah, particularly, I think the government needs to really work and create an inclusive process that allows for, green entrepreneurs like yourself to actually be in the policy making process and to also contribute into this process right from the beginning, not like at a later time, but like right from the initiation process. So involving and consulting directly youth green entrepreneurs to actually actively make policies that affect them, right? Because I mean, most of these policies ultimately affect us, because we are like the future generations, or like the generations that would live the life that's that comes after, right? If we don't take necessary actions to protect the planet. So we did want to leave all of those, right? And all these policies affect us. So yeah, I do think that the government processes need to be more inclusive, especially into institutional processes. So I'd like to just hear from Joy now. So what are some of the challenges that you've been facing, and how have you been tackling them?
Hello? Okay. Yes, thank you, Assis. Just like every other business, and just hearing Blessing speaking, I just knew that. I think every business just explains the same issues, but basically for us at New Digit, I think one of the major challenge, at the beginning when we started was um, access to supply chain. For us, is one of the major issue we face because we are building an hardware technology. It's an hardware product, so we need fabrication facility, we need equipment, we need innovations facility for us to build. So for Nigeria, it's really hard to find a well-equipped fabrication laboratory to build. So it was really difficult for us. And you either have to send your products or design to China, which is expensive, and you can also compromise your intellectual properties. So we were able to work around that by using local materials and doing like manual machining of those materials. So that was how we're able to, address that problem until we had the necessary resources and investment and partnership to access more equipped fabrication laboratory. And when Blessing was speaking, she mentioned about behavioral change. I think it's something I'm very familiar with in terms of the business we are doing at New Digit, because we are coming to the market with a different product from what people are used to. So there's this switch of they're not sure of of the new product, in as much as the product they're using is not really solving their problem. But people are always scared of taking risk and trying what they don't understand. So at that point, it was a big challenge because to penetrate into the market, so you have to do a lot of convincing and marketing until uh, finally you're able to penetrate into the market. So basically, I would say yes. And then I think another thing is, policy and frameworks. Um, it's for hydrogen, there are a lot of frameworks and policy that is needed for you to be able to do business or implement hydrogen solutions, especially when you're doing them in a small scales. And for us, and especially even in Nigeria here, you wake up one day, there's this policy about startup and businesses. You wake up the next day, you're just trying to understand that particular policy. Then you have a new policy that is still coming on. You're just trying to address that. There's a new policy. So there's this policy changes in the country, and a lot of other economic activity also affect businesses. So mostly this thing just happen. This is part of the business. You just have to keep, fighting the process. Not like fighting the process, but fighting your way out of it till the business becomes successful and becomes stable. Yeah, so thank you, Asisuba.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. I can see that based on your responses, all these challenges are similar. Like the challenges that green businesses face in Nigeria, particularly, are similar, and they're just slightly different due to different contexts. But I would just like to hear from Mr. Dozie. Maybe he might have a different, opinion about the challenges that they're facing as a business. So, Mr. Dozie, would you like to just share a little bit about some of those challenges and how you've been tackling them?
Yeah. So one of the major challenges we experience at early stages is to actually come up with something that don't look like a locally made product. So when it comes to hardware in Nigeria, sometimes even whatever material you tend to use, be it metal, plastic, whatever the case may be, there's this look of this thing is local. From a mile away, someone will just be like, this thing is not imported. It looks like something that is just put together. So we try to make sure we build something that looks more that can compete rather in in the global space. This was one of the challenges we had, and for us to really conquer that, we had to really work with people that could help us bring that to fruition. So I had this program in 2021 with the Innovate Hub in Abuja, where there's they have a lot of, it's like a fab lab, and we were trained by the Israeli. That was how we were able to come up from the local way of manufacturing to actually building products that looks like of good standard. That's one. So another challenge we had was trying to get raw materials, because electronic waste is something that people don't really like to give out. Take for instance batteries. So most people
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, most people that has like now you have a laptop and at some point you feel like, hey, the battery it doesn't back up anymore and all that, but you don't feel obliged to just go trade outside, right? You just feel like there's money, I can sell it. Something must come out. So that mindset had made it quite difficult for us to get raw materials. Initially, we started sourcing from Computer Village, not until we had a good partnership with people that can provide us with this in bulk. So those are the tiny, the major challenges we experience at early stages. Currently, the challenges, yeah. So there are still challenges, but it's not looking like heavy ones anymore. So yeah, that's my own take for challenge. Thank you.
Yeah, but to be honest, I feel like the challenge you mentioned about people thinking generally that this is not made in Nigeria. Sorry, this is made in Nigeria, right? Just having I feel like a lot of people just have this perception of things that are made in Nigeria as being maybe of low quality and all of that. But I think that young people like yourself are changing the narrative and setting that standard and making it clear that we too can create really amazing products that stands out even when you compare it with when you benchmark it with other products out there. So very incredible work you're doing there, Mr. Dozie, and all our other panelists. Always interesting to hear about the kind of work you're doing. So now let's get to the part where we share some of for a young person on the call today right now, who wants to get into the green space, who wants to maybe start a green business, how would you encourage them to approach it? What would be your advice to a young person right now who is just very new to this space and wants to start a green business? I will throw this over to Ms. Blessing. So, Ms. Blessing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the green business, let me call it the green economy. For me, the way I see it is not just come in, make your money, and go out kind of economy. I think it's one that has come to stay, and it's more like a way of life. It's a lifestyle. You're trying to build a different way of life beyond what we used to know, right? So for any young person that is coming into this sector, I think you should have that at the back of your mind, that it's not something to just come in, make my money and go out. It's a lifestyle. You're trying to build something beyond yourself, beyond you as an individual. You're building something that is going to be globally recognized and going to make global impact. And as such, your solutions to when you want to come into the sector should be global. They should be global solutions, but then they should also address community-based crises or challenges. Your solutions should be something that are very applicable. Your solutions have to be relatable to the community that you're trying to sell it to. There are people that will come into business and they will have very, very great ideas, and then you come into business and then there is no market for your business. So you have to do your market research. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know how your solution is going to solve people's problem, not just anything. It's a way of life, and it doesn't just have to be around waste management or energy. Like I said, it's a way of life. It could be even in fashion. It could be food, in agriculture, whichever area that you are currently building on or passionate about. Look for ways to make it more sustainable. think that's one important advice that I would give to any young person that is coming into the sector. You need to find your strong point, make it applicable, and let your solutions be how do I put this now? Community-based solutions, right? Community-based solutions that are trying to address global issues. Because we know that Nigeria is diverse, Africa is diverse, and the world is diverse. So you can see something that is happening in Europe, and you try to bring it to Nigeria, and it doesn't work. People do not buy it, and you begin to wonder, why are people not buying this? When we started recycling, there are so many thoughts that came to our heads on how we can make it work. But those ideas did not sell because the communities did not buy into such ideas. If your solutions are far-fetched and doesn't solve people's immediate um, problems, you you won't have a buy-in. I think that's one of my biggest advice to young people. I can then add things about building a very good team, because you cannot do this alone. You need to work with people, building teams and partnerships that would support your business. Thank you.
All right, really interesting insights there. I think one thing I was myself I was able to pick from this was that you need to know your audience, and you need to know what really works for your context. So a solution that works in the US currently may not necessarily work in Nigeria, right? So just making sure that you know your context, and also adapting your solution to actually fit into the realities and priorities of the people you're trying to solve the problem with. So I would like to also get from Ms. Joy. Are there any advice you would like to give?
Yes, Asis, thank you. So the green industry or the green sector, has a lot of opportunities for young people, and the fact that the world is trying to achieve a sustainable economy, so it gives rooms for different businesses to emerge, and that give us rooms to innovate around different sectors. So for me, if anyone is out there who is interested, or you're hearing about this recently and you think that it's something you want to emerge in, you want to go into, there's a lot of opportunities there for you, not just for you as an individual or as a business person, but also for the planet and also for your community. So for me, my key point to just be like, the first thing to do is to identify your interests or the problem you want to solve. The green sectors is has a very big it's a very big and diverse industry. So you have to identify the problem you want to solve, uh, or you want to address. Not you don't want to make sure you don't want to go out there and you are solving every problem. You are solving energy crisis, waste, smart agriculture. You have to like start with a particular problem, identify that problem that you think you are much passionate about, and that you want to address. So then the second thing would be to do your market research. And this is just for you to understand the industry itself, the sectors, especially if it's something that you're not familiar with before, and also for you to identify some of the potential in the sector, because you don't want to go to a sector where it doesn't have a potential for business. So then another thing is also doing research will make you to understand the problem you are solving if it's a real problem, because most time we think we are solving problem, but actually it's not, the problem is not real, or it's not as real as we see it from the customer perspective. And if the problem is real, what are the current solution that are addressing that problem? Like the people that are facing that problem, how are they addressing it? So this will give you like insight of how to innovate around your solution, and also how to come into, so that you can have like competitive advantage on in the industry, or how to innovate around your solution to solve that problem. Then one other thing I was also advise is that when you are starting a business, people, you don't just start the business randomly. I think after you have identified your market or the problem you want to solve, the next thing is, it's very important that you build at least a document or a proposal, which mostly is business plan of what you are doing, because it gives you the like overview of everything they are solving, and it gives like a timeline of how to achieve each of them, because the document talks about the problem you are solving, the solution you are rendering, the market potential. If investors give you money, how are they going to make that money back? So it's also give you the opportunity for you to be accountable as well. Then this kind of document can share with people for grants, for partnership, for investment. So then one other thing I would also like to add is that connecting to the right people, or being part of a right community. So for example, the climate change movement like have a lot of large communities, and these are where you can get like inspiration, motivation. You can get opportunities. Sometimes you can get like people who are doing similar things, or you can have opportunity for you to collaborate with other people as well. So it's always good to keep a community of people that are doing similar things, like maybe in the sustainable sectors. So keeping people that are like-minded around is also important to accelerate whatever you're doing. Yeah, sis, thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing those interesting insights about as a young person starting a green business. You don't just start, right? I think that's one interesting advice that I can get. I was able to pick from your conversation. And yeah, so as a young person, you don't just start. You need to really understand the markets. You need to know your target audience well, and at the same time, you need to also build something that is sustainable, meaning that if investors invest in your green business today, are you able to actually return their capital and also come back with a return on investment? So it needs to, and also I think it needs to also be whatever niche or whatever sector it is, it needs to be a sector that is promising. So you don't just enter into a sector that at the end of the day, you're not able to, create the impact you want to create. And at the end of the day, you end up, shutting the business down, right? So, Mr. Dozier, I wanted to hear from you too, like from your own perspective, from the perspective of running an e-waste business. What kind of advice would you give to a young person who's just starting up?
Yeah, so I like the fact that you mentioned e-waste, because electronic waste is, of course, is kind of a hazardous waste, unlike plastic and food waste. So e-waste is one thing that you need to understand what are the materials or components that you should be able to protect yourself from. There are materials such as lead, there are materials such as lithium batteries. They have this chemical that they emit chemicals, right? So you must understand how to store them. So for a young person going to the e-waste sector, I think the best thing for you to do is to understand what particular waste do you want to be playing around with, because e-waste is very broad, So you need to identify what materials you need, what products you'll be making out from the material. Are you trying to build a product? Are you trying to build a service? You can do service in terms of, okay, trying to harvest certain components from waste, bring them out. Let's take, for example, a practical example. So there are flat screen TVs, right? And we all know Arena in Oshodi, where people go there to fix their gadgets and stuff. At an Arena, most times you see these scraps buyers, they go there to sell these materials to the guys in Arena, because what the guys in Arena do is that they extract some of the components that might not be available, or because they are expensive, but they are finding these components on scrap devices. So they use Surinayo to pull them out So whenever they know particular replacement parts that are reoccurring. So whenever customer comes like, hey, this particular IC is bad, they know that yes, in these gadgets, this is what is always the problem. So they swap it for you because they already gotten this material from waste. It's cheaper for them and they will charge you. So that's an angle. So you need to understand what exactly you want to do in the area of e-waste, because for us, we are building a fresh product from waste. So you can be rendering a service, or you can be actually thinking of building a product, or you can actually be in the middle of probably the consumer and the collector. So it all depends on what you want to do. But whatever it is you want to do, you just have to understand what you want to do better and understand the implications surrounding the health hazard around electronic waste. So yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing this key insights on the specifics around getting into the e-waste business. And I'd like to also throw this question to you directly, which is what are some of the key success factors for a green business such as e-waste? What are the key success factors that you need to monitor? So I'm throwing this directly to Mr. Dozie.
Yes, in terms of two things. Number one, you have to be able to know the amount of waste that you are trapping in terms of carbon footprint and greenhouse gases, and the like. So you need to understand, say, hey, I'm into this sector, and what are the key metrics? Are we actually helping to reduce waste, or are we just indirectly adding to the waste? So you have to be conscious about what you do. So let me use us as an example. So for us, we harvest this waste, we scale them up. We know how many kg one of our lanterns weigh. So we know that for us to build X amount of lanterns, we need X amount of X amount of waste. So we scale everything. So everything is recorded. So that way we know that yes, we are not just taking out these things, and at the end of the day, we don't really have successful metrics around it. So this is why I said it's best for you to at least understand the numbers and not to contribute. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so you need to be able to, your success has to be measured by the amount of waste you are trapping from the environment, not. Yes, sorry, I had a call to come in.
All right.
Yes, so sorry. So yeah, you should be able to measure the amount of waste you are being used, not just by just building, but understanding that you are not contributing to the current waste on ground, but rather you are harvesting and reducing the greenhouse gas, and of course measuring your carbon footprint. Let me speak a little bit about carbon footprint, which is a term that is just kind of coming up in Nigeria. So carbon footprint talks more about the processes that involve your building of your product, either from the transportation to the energy use to the time used on the human power or the machine power, whatever it is. You have to have them calculated to understand how much does it take to actually build one unit of your product. So these are the key metrics that you should have as a guideline, because these are key metrics that impact investors really look out for. That's what I have to say about that, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing. I believe some of these key success metrics are similar across green businesses. Like generally, green businesses are helping to reduce carbon emissions in one way or the other, whether it's plastic waste or it's even energy or e-waste, right? You'd see this common trend of all these businesses ultimately helping to reduce the overall carbon emissions, and some are even trying to totally offset, carbon emissions So I would like to just hear from Joy and Ms. Blessing, what are the other success metrics that you use to track the progress you're making in your business? So I'll just start with Ms. Blessing.
Thank you very much. So for one other metrics that I think we can use to track success in the green market is your innovation being able to scale beyond, just where you're starting out. So I can start a project here today, and that project maybe it runs for 2 months, and maybe the day I stop coming around, that project fails. For instance, in the waste sector, you see a lot of people coming out to say, oh, let's go and clean up, let's go and do clean up. And then you go out to a location and then you organize volunteers. You might sometimes call community members and you organize and clean up a location. And 2 weeks later, you come back to that same spot and then you see waste lying around all over. The gutters are clogged again. What was the problem? That solution was not the perfect solution. It wasn't scalable. It wasn't something that they could maintain. When you clean up and you do not give them a sustainable means of disposing their waste after you have gone, it's something that you should always consider. So your solution should not just be a one-time solution, and as you're done, you leave, and then that's the end of it. Solutions must be scalable and sustainable beyond the fact that, oh, after I've done this project and I've done this here and I leave, it stops. It should live beyond you. That's one of success, one of the ways that you can track success. I think also a sustainable supply chain for us in recycling. What we want to do is we want to keep collecting the waste that is out there. So we need our supply chain to be sustainable. And when I talk about sustainable, from the point of logistics and financing the collection, the team that's going to do the collection, and even the source where you're collecting them from, it has to be a sustainable collection point. So you see us trying to come up with better ways to recover our waste. Initially, when we started out with just drop-off centers, having people to go and drop off their waste in the market, because we know you're going to the market. So when you're making that one trip to the market, you go there and you drop off. That reduces the movement, and then we can just go to the market, collect everything that everybody has dropped off. And that is also a sustainable supply chain for us. And then we saw that, oh, a lot of people could not even go to the market to drop off, maybe because they are not mobile or the market is too far from them. And we came up with better ways to say, okay, let's even come to your estate. When we are in your estate, it's easier for you to come and drop off and then collect from you. And then we then started even the doorstep pickup that people can, who are not even mobile or do not live in estates, that want to support this. So we can then go pick up from you. So that's why I'm trying to talk about your supply chain being sustainable, so that you don't run out of supply and one day you say, oh, I don't have waste supply, or there are waste littered in the street and I don't know how to recover them. So that's some of the success metrics for us. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thanks for sharing that with us as well. I would like to also hear from Joy what she thinks are the other, what are the other success factors, especially within the energy space.
Yes. Okay. So for me, before I just go into maybe our experience and what are the things that have worked for us, I just like to share that in general, because I believe we are talking to people who are also interested in going into the green business as well. So in general, for me, I think that to start any business at all, to be successful in any business, the first or the major thing is clarity. You having like a clean, clear vision of the problem you want to solve. and sticking to it. I think that's one of the major problems that we have, young entrepreneurs, because we move from one business to the other, having a clear problem we want to solve and sticking to it. Some cases I've seen people where today they're into energy, then tomorrow they're into waste management because they heard that waste management is what is giving people more um, grants now, or so people just keep moving from one point to the other. So to be successful in any business, you have to like have a clear vision of what you want to do. You have to also be very passionate about it. That's the only thing you can keep on to it. I know there are times where you want to have a business and you need to get a point of you pivoting to something else. Yes, but the first thing would be having a clear vision and sticking to that vision until you achieve whatever you aim to achieve in the first place. Then I think for us, one of the major things that we're using as our success factor was the fact that um, energy solutions, if you're not doing fossil fuel, can be a bit expensive. And when I say expensive, I'm sure that most of us here know what I'm talking about. Especially when you're coming into the market with a new technology that probably few people are doing in the country, or no one is even doing in the country. So it can be very expensive because uh, it's a new industry and there's no much resources available in the country. So most of your equipment you have to import uh, and bring from other countries. So it becomes very expensive. And for us, our factor is one of our factors is to make sure that our customers are able to access this product without robbing the bank. And we know that solar system is already expensive. So if you're coming to the market with something different, it has to be, you know, like almost the same price as what they're already using, or something slightly above it, so that you can compensate based on the fact that you're giving them more power, compared to what the national grid is giving or to what the generator is giving. And the fact that electricity sometimes are not stable in Nigeria, and access to fuel, also the fuel market is not stable, and most time we have fuel scarcity, so it gives you the upper hand. So but in general, you have to make sure that you have competitive advantage in terms of price. For us, we're focusing on the middle income communities. We know that the middle household, the average income is about $1,300 per month for a family, the middle family. So if you're going to afford your product, it has to be something that fits into their budget. And if that product is expensive for them to afford, what are some of the models, the business model that you have in place to make sure that at least it's being subsidized for them, or it's something that you can accommodate? For example, for us, one of the business model we did was subscription models, which mean that you can pay 50% of the initial price of the product, and then the rest of the money is spread across either 6 months or 1 year, depending on your income. So that is not one. The secondly, as well, for me, I think in general, it's innovation. Innovation is very important when it comes to building businesses, not just green business, but for every business. Innovation is important, because when you come into the market, people are going to be doing what you're doing. And sometimes you are going to meet people already doing what you're doing. So what makes you to stand out is innovation. You have to be different. There have to be something that when you sell your product, distinguish your product from any other person that is doing the same thing they are doing. Yeah. So over to you, Assis.
Very interesting comment. So we are going to be wrapping up so that we would allow for our audience to also ask questions directly from all of you on the panel. But the last question I would just like to throw across to you all is, just to wrap this up, is okay. As a young person who is getting into the space of green entrepreneurship, what are the available opportunities in terms of maybe potential seed funding, or some sort of challenge that young people could look out for, green and climate related challenges, or accelerator programs or incubators that they could actually look out for? It would be helpful to also share some of the links in the chats. I would just like to start with Mr. Dozie, if there are any recommendations that you have for our audience here currently.
Yeah, so I don't know if the NCIC or loan program is still on, because it started since 2020. We're one of the entrepreneurs that got the grants at that median edition, the embryo program. So I know of the Nigerian Climate Innovation Center, NCIC. I know of the Orange Corners. Orange Corners is always taking different cohorts. I think in a year they do about 3 cohorts. So I know of IFE Innovate in Abuja. I think IFE 3 is just going to start sometime soon. Then I know of which one again? Yes, the CIC, KCIC, that's the Climate Innovation Center. I've forgotten the name, but yeah, it's something that has to do with the global climate solution. So those are the ones I know, but the others are mainly accelerators that for idea phases, you might not be able to get into it, because accelerator programs are mainly for people that are, or startups that already have an MVP or are looking to scale. So, but in terms of accelerators, there are others as well. We have the Mass Challenge, we have the Startup Bootcamp, we have which one? There's this other one happening in Norway. So in Norway, yes. So these are the programs that I know outside Nigeria, and they are hybrid. But the ones I mentioned earlier are mainly they're happening in Nigeria. And you have to look out for VC4A and other platforms like Opportunity Decks and the rest to just look at and read up about opportunities that are upcoming that you could apply. Thank you.
Those are really interesting links that you just shared. Yeah, particularly because I mean, all of this are all engaging and interactive ways to actually get into the space. I took my time to actually listen and also type them out in the chat box so that our audience can look them up. You mentioned the Nigerian Climate Innovation Center. I believe Joy has also been involved with them before in the past. And then there is also the Orange Corners, the IFE. I think the IFE is done by the Israeli government, I believe,
yes.
with the Office of the Vice President.
The Vice President, yeah. Exactly.
Yes, and then there is also the Startup Bootcamp, and VC4A, Venture Capital for Africa, is also a very good platform where a lot of venture capitalists actually look out for innovative solutions to invest in. So please, everybody should try to take note of all of these platforms that Mr. Dozie has shared. These are all helpful links that could ultimately get you started. And it's in the ground running in the space. So I would like to also hear from Ms. Blessing and Ms. Joy, if you'd like to comment. Any one of you want to just go ahead and hit it.
Yes, just to add to what Dozie just said, there are a lot of different opportunities that one can access, but just to make it clear, for you to start accessing opportunity, you have to start doing something. So you can't just have idea and walk into this company and they'll give you money. So they go through application process and require some some information, so which means you have to have a business or an idea you want to work on. So that being said, just to add to what Dozie said, I think the NCIC, yes, which is more like incorporated with the Climate Launchpad and the All-On Business Fund. So you can check that out as well. Then there's McKinsey Prize. So McKinsey Prize gives huge chunk of amount of money for even at idea stage. They give money for agriculture, for energy. There's also then this green innovation funds. So they give like $500 to $1,000 to small scale green businesses. You can also check the Business World Cup. So it's more of competition. So if you submit your application and you qualify, you can pitch the idea and win up to 100,000 to 500,000 US dollar. Then There's also like Eco Champion. So Eco Champion is the same thing as similar as the one I've mentioned before. So there are various opportunity out there, but get your business together, get your idea together, and you go online, make research. Definitely the opportunity will come. And also in terms of opportunity, connecting with similar like-minded people in the industry is very, very important, because they can share opportunity with you, can recommend you to organization that will share, that can give you funding as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, Assis.
Okay, it would be helpful to also hear from Ms. Blessing before we proceed to the question and answer session.
So I think they've mentioned actually most of it. Just to add, I think there's still the Coca-Cola Foundation of Recycle Plus. There are some banks also coming into the green sector, I think Access Bank, Providence Bank, even UBA that you can access, yes. And some of these people, they like to collaborate with government. So it's also important that you're registered with the government agencies that are in your business sector, so that when funding is coming through the government, it also gets to you. Thank you.
Assis, just to mention, I just remember this. If you're in Lagos, Lagos states have like the SDG funds that they give. So if you're addressing like any of the SDGs goals, so they have like the SDG office and they have some funding they give to SDG projects. So I heard that from the commissioner of SDG actually. So something you can check up on.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. I just also dropped it in the chat. The Lagos SDG Fund, which is an initiative of the Lagos State Government, the Office of the Sustainable Development Goals, OSAP, and this, I think there is also the national office that also runs OSAP, that also runs some other programs, SDG programs and funds actually that young people could actually apply for. So OSAP, I'm also dropping it in the chat. And right, we're done with this panel discussion. I'd like us to now move on to the questions and answers session. And this is where we'd like to hear from our audience. What are the questions that you have for us? I'm going to look through the chat box, but if you have a question, just you can feel free to type it in the chat box, and we're going to read it out for you, just in case if your network is not strong. But if your network, to get confidence, the network is strong, you would like to ask a question, just use the raise hand feature. When you raise your hand, you can request to ask question. So please feel free to use the raise hand feature now, so we can have you ask your question. I can see earlier during the conversation, someone asked about how can you, start a sustainable, or what are the ways that you could make your business sustainable? Like if you're running an electronic waste business, for instance, what are the ways on a longer term? What are the ways you can make this business a sustainable one? So I think I would like to direct that to Mr. Dozie. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so let me get the question very clear, please.
Okay, so the question I saw in the chat here is, what are the ways you can make, for example, an electronic waste business sustainable, like thinking long term, how can this business be a sustainable one? What are the ways, strategies or approaches that you use to make sure that this is a sustainable business?
Okay, so to answer that, one of the first things I think you need to do is to carry out the proper research, understanding the kind of business you want to do and what surrounds the kind of business, the key stakeholders around that business. Where are they having the key resources that you need? Where are they most likely to, you're most likely to get them in bulk, right? So that's the first thing. So you have to be very close to the raw material. You have to have good relationship with your source. So, because that's the only way you can make it sustainable. These are not virgin materials. These are materials from waste. So you need to at least have a sure link or direct link to where you're getting whatever it is that you need. So that's one of the key things for me. That's the first way to go about being sustainable. Then two, you have to understand who you are providing this, either a product or a service to. Are you providing a service to who? Are they willing to pay? Does it really make economic sense? Is it something that they'll be like, okay, hey, we can put our money down for this? Or is it something that will just be like it's child's play? So you have to do further research to understand that angle as well. So when you have those two boxes tick, I'm sure that the rest is just minor, like logistics and trying to put on margin and see how you could do awareness and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, those are really key points. I love the fact that you mentioned that in order to be sustainable, you need to carry out proper research, because if you don't understand the challenge, you also don't have evidence-based, analysis about, this challenge you're trying to solve, or the market, or the context that you currently are in. Then you won't be able to realize the appropriate solution to solve that. So really very important to carry out research, and also very important to make sure you carry out your feasibility studies, making sure that it is something that is feasible in the real sense. Like when investors drop money for you to invest in this business, making sure that the business is actually feasible is something that is going to turn in a return on investment, and at the same time it's going to impact on the community. So I can also see there's a question in the chat here that someone just asked. The person is asking, he wants to know how can nonprofit benefit from, okay, we have a project to be executed but lacking funding, which is also a major setback for the project. Teach SDG in public primary school. It's over 340 students in total. Okay, so I'm not sure, I'm not really getting this question correctly, but I can see the person is trying to, the person is trying to look out for maybe possible opportunities that non-profits could also social, how would I classify it, right? Let me classify it as social enterprises, yeah. Social enterprises that basically, whatever revenue they are earning is being reinvested, like in terms of profit and everything, is being reinvested in the business, so the majority of the revenue comes back into the business, or even all of it comes back into the business. So I think that is basically what this person is trying to ask. So how can they benefit? How can they benefit from all these opportunities, I guess? I don't know who would like to answer that. Ms. Person, would you like to jump on that?
Okay, so I think if I understand the question right, he has a project he wants to run, and
yeah, a Teach SDG
seeking
project.
a way
Yeah.
of finding funding for the project. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
since it's a non-profit project, it's maybe a one-off project. I think one way that you could source for funding is to call out for donations and crowdfunding. So send out proposals and let people who understand what you're trying to do and appreciate it. And then you can get some form of crowdfunding or donations and even partnerships. So there's nothing that says that you have to do this alone or the project alone. You can seek partnerships with people that can, if you need computers you can seek partnership with someone who has a computer center So you don't need to even buy the computers. You can then have scheduled classes for students to then go to their center, use their computers to learn. If you need any other kind of materials for your project, look for organizations that are already in that space and can offer you that service to do that project. Because I believe that anyone who is in the green sector is trying to build a socially responsible organization. And when they see ways that they can come in, I believe that if you have a good proposal, they will come in and support. And then if the project is not too urgent, just like we have we have a long list of grants that you can apply for and then run your project. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it should really be helpful to the person who asked that question. The next question I can see here is this is from Olufolake. So Olufolake wants to find out, in a university setting or in a university environment where there is high level of consumption of products that use single-use plastics, like bottles, PET bottles, and all of that. So in a school environment where that is high, what is really the feasibility of actually running a recycling business in a school environment? So for students on the call who are very interested in starting a green business, they can see the challenge, right? Because they can see that there are a lot of students who take who use single-use plastics and just throw it off into the environment. So I don't know who would like to go for that. Would like to jump on that question. How feasible is it to run a recycling business in a university setting where there is the waste culture is inappropriate?
Okay, I think I can jump on that. So yes, it's very possible for you to start a recycling business in the school setting. If you joined us earlier on, you would have heard us talking about government. So if you're in a schooling setting, then of course you have to talk to the school management to make sure that you have their approval and they can come on board. And in the recycling sector, it's how do I say this now? The recycling sector is still, even though it's a sector, there are still other breakdowns. There are the collectors, and there are those who do the actual recycling or production. So if you are talking about running a recycling business in a school or university environment, what aspect of recycling do you want to go into? Is it just collection of the plastics? So yes, that can be done. You can talk to the management, have receptacles around the school premises, hostels, classrooms, sensitize the students, the lecturers, and even the sanitation workers to sort their waste properly. And then you can have a collection system, and then you can then sell to off-takers. And then if you even want to go further into manufacturing, that is even more technical, and it even makes sense that you are in a schooling setting, and then this is a way that students can even learn about green businesses and how to even innovate items, new products from waste. So students can even come in and into that business even for their research projects. So you have to go to like the department that will be in charge of waste management or production, and then come up with ways or ideas of things that you can do with the waste. Either you want to turn them to blogs or to fuel, whichever you want to do. So you do not necessarily have to do both collection and manufacturing. But if you think, or if you have discussed with management and they believe that this is a good idea and they want to even go into manufacturing, because of course I see schools that sell products that they make and sell, and that generates income for the school. So definitely that's a very, very good idea. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
All right, so thank you for providing such a comprehensive answer, concise answer. I can also see some more questions here. The questions are coming in. I can see Oluwashi asking a question about can the panelists share their experiences in building their teams for green businesses? So this question is more particularly around building teams. How can you select and form teams that would ultimately help in in pushing the green business forward? So she's more concerned about, okay, how can I create my own team, right? So I don't know who would like to jump and like answer that question. Does Mr. Dozie want to go for that? You want to go for that?
Yeah, so let me talk about teams. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so building the right team is very, very important, because of course we all know that you can't do it by yourself, but you have to find people that you can work together with. And at early stages, it's difficult to really get the right team, because you probably might be the only one with the vision. You know, you don't have money to pay these guys. You can't be giving them a certain amount per month as basic salary. So you have to bring in people that, number one, they can see from through your lens. They see the vision, they see the opportunity, they see the problem, and they are passionate to solve it as well as you can, as well as the way you want to solve it. So one of the things that you make them feel involved is to at least give them some sort of sweat equity. Like, okay, say, hey, you are coming on board, where you have X amount of equity in this company. This is what you have. So, but you don't just give them equity without having some lineup of obligations and, of course, responsibilities that they need to carry out. So you tend to see their seriousness. If they don't carry out these things, if they are not fully involved, you know, you're most likely to drop them along the way. But most people want to jump on that and say, hey, you have paper to sign that yes, they have some kind of equity involved in the company, but at the same time, they won't want to put their own input. So it's left for you to see and evaluate every team members, and you have to be the person that will carry out this work reasonably. Because I'll tell you for free that if your team members don't really see you doing the work, because the more work falls on you, if they don't see the company really taking some strides, they might really not want to be interested. And some other people will want to see like, yeah, you doing the work, while they want to sit back and relax and want to feel like they have a share in it. So it's kind of dicey, but you have to still carry them along. At the same time, people that you feel that are not really moving in line with putting their own input, you have to drop them along the line. This is what your terms of agreement should help you with. And you have to have a lawyer. So that's my own take, building a team. Except you want to do it like a non-profit, some group of friends coming together. Still, when money start coming, there's most likely to be an issue. Thank you.
All right, very interesting. Comments on question on team formation there. I'm also looking at the chat now to see what are the other questions that we have here. I can see that just give me a second. Okay, so I can see that another question this person is asking is if the meeting is recorded. Okay, the meeting is recorded, you're gonna get the recording for this meeting, and also I can see another question about policies. Yeah, so I can see questions about government policies and regulations can have a significant impact on the green market, and entrepreneurs should stay up to date on the relevant policies and regulations and be prepared to adapt their business models to the needed policies. So the question was now, okay, how do we ensure, let me see, how do we ensure that these policies and regulations are followed, especially if they are transboundary? Many young people, young entrepreneurs let me check, it's quite a long question. So many entrepreneurs are discouraged with the heavy levy, even with trade across same economic community in the case of ECOWAS. So yeah, I don't know who would like to go go for that question. So just answer that. It's a question around policies. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So I think first the question, that last question, I think somebody asked a question about regulation, and the last one you read was someone trying to respond to that. So, but basically, I think it's about regulation and frameworks. Basically, every country has their own policies when it comes to running business, any business at all. Every company have their own policy, and if you want to scale beyond your country to another country, you may have to also understand the kind of policy that or regulatory body that other country wants to scale to operating on. And it's also very important that you understand the country itself, because not every country that um, are business friendly. Not every country are business friendly. It can be in terms of security, it can be in terms of market entry, it can be in terms of regulatory framework. So, but most especially, it's you have, if you want to, like, for example, you are building a product in Nigeria and you want to scale to Ghana, you have to understand that the kind of the market in Ghana, there are regulation for startup, if they have startup policies or business policies, and what are some of the conditions for foreigners to come in terms of building businesses or investing in the country or selling products. So you have to understand some of those policies, and those are the policies that will determine your next actions as well. So understanding those policies as well, and it's also good when you're starting a business in another country or scaling your business to work with the locals there, the people in the local people from that country. So because it will give you more like competitive advantage, because they understand the countries and their citizens. So as a government, the policies may be more lean on them compared to you that are coming as a foreigner. Yeah.
Right. I think that was well answered. I think that was well answered. I can see Anya Ebenezer, he has his hand up. I think he wants to ask a question. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself now. Mr. Ebenezer. Mr. Ebenezer, your hand is raised. I don't know if this is a legacy hand, but if you can respond via chat, if your audio is not open, you can respond via chat just to be sure. So that we can move forward. Yeah, Mr. Ebenezer, you're mute now, so please go ahead and ask your question. Mr. Ebenezer, we can't hear you. All right, I'll take it that Mr. Ebenezer is not with us currently because he has not been responding. But if he has any question, feel free to. No? Hello? So I'll take it that Mr. Ebenezer is not with us currently. If he has any question, feel free to drop it in the chat. And also, because of time, I think we've already run out of time already. So for any further questions, you can email us and we will try to get the questions across to the speakers. I will drop the email here in the chat box. So you can feel free to email us and our speakers can answer some of these questions and we will circulate it together with the recording of the meeting, of the events. So please send your questions to that email so we can have our panelists answer them because we're running out of time already. And so we have some upcoming events that would like for you to also look out for during the week. We have we have the plastic-free living workshop, which is really all about how we can embrace more eco-friendly lifestyles, how we can live more sustainably as people who are trying to, embrace environmental sustainability. And then there is also this initiative we launched, the Ecoverse, which you can access anytime. This is the link to access it, ecoverse.swiftxr. I will just very quickly run you through the platform just to interact with the platform. I did mention that we have a workshop coming up on the 29th, and then there's also a sustainability quiz night that we're still planning. I would like for you all to stay tuned to our social media platforms and feel free to also join our virtual match. We started a virtual match on 22nd of April, and definitely we still welcome your conversations online. You can tag SS4GG online on Twitter, on Instagram, talk about your experience during the workshop and during the panel, during the workshop, during our different activities. Share your feedback, tag us online and use transform the future hashtag. So I wanted to just show us what's our platform, the Ecoverse, what it looks like. I will quickly open the platform now so you can all take a look. So basically what we've done is that we've created this platform to be very interactive, meaning that you can interact with all the elements of the platform. You can see this guy here is waving his hand saying hello and welcoming you to the Ecoverse. How do you get to the Ecoverse app that we've developed? It's called the link. The link, are you all hearing me? So the link to the Ecoverse is ecoverse.swiftxr.app. So that's how you can access it. And you can see here that what we've done is to create like a collection of different animals, the ones that have gone extinct and the ones that are endangered and the ones that are vulnerable. So this, what we're simply trying to do here is to educate people about, the connection that some of these animals have in our lives, and how this is connected to, food supplies and resource and water and quite a lot of things that has to do with human life. Hello? I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, please. We can still hear you.
All
right.
right.
Breaking before.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. So, so you can interact with the animals here. You can see this is a dinosaur, a T-Rex that has gone extinct. You can see, you can interact with it. So because of I'm using my mobile device, I'm using a system here. So my system is not augmented reality enabled. So I may not be able to view it within my space. So, but if you have your mobile device, if you go to your browser and you open this, you'll see like an icon that allows you to enable augmented reality mode. In augmented reality mode, you can bring this dinosaur to your room space. So all you just need to do is to find a flat surface, and then you click on the icon somewhere around the bottom left corner, sorry, bottom right corner of this screen. So when you click on that icon, you see the icon when you scroll down to it, you see something like view in my space or view in your space. So when you click on that icon, you're going to be able to bring this dinosaur to your space, and you can interact with it, you can bond, you can you see the dinosaur moving around, interacting. And then look at this also. This is an elephant. Elephants are also one of the most endangered species currently, largely due to climate change, changes in water, patterns, rainfall patterns, and this is affecting their reproduction. And this is overall how the climate crisis is really affecting our impacts. Our impact that we think are little, this is how they are actually affecting our environment. So you can see the melting ice in the polar region is affecting polar bears, right? And quite a lot of other animals. We have the panda, we have leopard. While the environmental impacts that we've been having on some of these animals have been very threatening. Some of them have actually managed to adapt to the reality, right, of the climate crisis, but this is not sustainable for them. And that is why, as human beings, we need to really understand this, and that's why we're educating our audience through this by developing this platform, making it interactive, making it a fun way for you to just get to interact with some of these animals which we may not have even seen in zoos before, right? Because of their becoming rare due to the climate crisis. So this is an hippopotamus here that you can see. You can interact with it within your space. So we definitely encourage you all to explore the website. Again, the website link is ecoverse.swiftxr.app. So you can access it through that link. And we'd just like to thank you all. Feel free to contact us through our email, info@ss4gg.org. If you have any questions, you have any feedback, feel free to send that to us. And we would just like to wrap it up here. Thank you all for joining us. Like we said already, the recording is going to be made available. We will try to compile your questions and have them answered by our panelists. Thank you, Mr. Dozie, Ms. Blessing, and Ms. Joy for joining us today, for having this interesting conversation. And definitely, we look forward to working with you in the future, and we look forward to future collaborations and projects around green entrepreneurship. Thank you all for joining us today, and do have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
You mentioned Binda, you mentioned Burak, oh, mommy. Zende fule. You mentioned Pangate Buhera.